It's basically vendor management when you get down to it. The issues in vendor master management is what leads to a lot of the cost savings out there. Not every one, but I would say almost all of them. And when we say vendor master management, I think it's not only having a clean master file, it's having a management of the payment streams to that vendor. It's taking a look at, bringing in cost recovery firms to look behind everything that you've done to see what else they can do from a much more detailed level. And it does boil down to, some of the things that we'll talk about here. So one thing is just getting bad information from vendors. That can lead to fraud even. Just knowing by having tax ID info on every vendor, it's a really good bet at doing tax ID matches and finding fraud. Without it, it really kind of leads to an issue, or potentially. So the other thing is taking a look at just names not being consistent, where there's missing information in the database as well. You may have too many active vendors with no activity, so it's clouding what's in that database. It, again, could be the duplicate payments, and I think even just duplicate vendors, which are parents and subs, and really could just be for mistakes as well. Some of the other issues in vendor master management, segregation of duty issues, which again can lead to fraud and collusion. Other things are difficult to really understand or look at spend management for that particular vendor. If you can't do that, it's usually tough to do a lot of this, but especially looking at payment terms. And I find that one area to improve on at companies is just looking at how quickly they are paying their vendors in general. Vendors may see that the company is confused, and then also may see opportunities to kind of take advantage of that. You could have unhappy vendors, etc. And all of this stuff really just increases. The sloppier it goes in, the easier it is to kind of cover up any sort of fraud or FCPA or other mismanagement. There's really nothing to be ashamed about, though. I mean, in any vendor master file or any process, there are errors. They always exist. And it's more or less a fact of life. I think you need to accept it and then just look to how do we prevent it more and how do we detect it more by putting more time and effort on the back end in reviewing it, but also more front end effort in putting in best practices and putting in new technology. And the best practices in this technology always get better. As years go on, you start to do more management of more of your master file as you go around to sort of the larger vendors and start to audit that. And therefore, you just learn new techniques and new ways of doing this work. And also, fraud hits everyone, so it's something where it's nothing to be ashamed about. It's, they say it's 6% or whatever percent you believe, every company is getting that percentage. When you look at why this might be happening in these processes, there are so many details to look at. Most of the findings in cost recovery projects come out of a manual review and really have nothing to do with the data at times. Everyone is time bankrupt. Every department has been slashed. Everyone you talk to, is running it one or two down. No one says, yeah, we have 8 extra people in our department and we don't know what to do with them. So, I think that's another reason why we're just not looking at this stuff. There can be some issues between AP and procurement. I think that's gotten a lot better over time. I think the AP department in general, with associations that have gotten better at promoting them, etc., they've gotten a lot more recognition, but at the same time, at times they can be pushed around and at organizations. They therefore are usually the last people to receive any sort of funding, but these cost recovery projects can actually help to make any case that they want that they need money. Now, vendor billing schemes, like it or not, end up within the accounts payable department, but they can usually happen in other departments where the department head will create a new vendor, send in an invoice. That's really where the fraud happened. However, accounts payable's kind of left holding the bag because they've run it through. So from a people process point of view, billing schemes within accounts payable, no offense to accounts payable folks, it's just a great place, an easy way to get money out of the organization. Really the top way. And as you look at misappropriation schemes later, as we will, you'll see that. So from a technology point of view, why do these things happen? System controls aren't usually the best in duplicate payment detection, duplicate vendor detection, even in just matching purchase order pricing, let's say, within the system itself. Now, and a lot of these reports are not preloaded with the actual system when it's purchased. It's something you have to add on and do later, and again, it ends up becoming very costly, so a lot of companies don't do it. The reports may not be regularly run, so even if you do have them, it's one of these forgotten tasks, as noted before, and a lot of the reports themselves have not been updated. Many times, I'll see in an organization where the actual duplicate payment report was run for the last 15 years and has never been updated, because people are afraid if they update it in some way, they may actually break it.